Welcome to another edition of the Chicks on the Right podcast, where we talk to a friend and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham from Bulwark Capital Management. And today we have a very unusual, weird topic. It's not brand new news, but it is kind of in the news right now. And that is the fact that Klarna, like this payment system, and DoorDash have partnered together. So basically people can get an installment plan to pay for their meal for interest-free payment installments. And so this seems really emblematic of our entire culture, that you can't just pay for your food.
Right.
And so now there's some, people are saying, well, the good thing is that it's interest-free. It's not like it's costing you any more per se. But then other people are saying this is a terrible idea because it's going to just lead people to overspend because they don't have that feeling that they're just paying it off in one fell swoop.
You know what I'm afraid of?
What do you think about
I'm afraid, just before you answer that, Zach, I'm afraid that eventually there's going to be a politician like 4 years from now, a Democrat politician that's going to be like, we're going to pay off your food loans. I'm so afraid of that.
We're paying off your Doritos.
Right.
It's on me.
We're paying off your your Chipotle loans.
Right.
I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, by that time we could be wasting away because maybe everybody's on Ozempic, and maybe the battle cry will be "Make America Fat Again." You know what I mean?
Maybe, or like,
maybe we overdid it on the skinny side,
right? Or RFK will have gotten all the preservatives out of our food, and like everybody is just like so incredibly healthy that I don't know what's going to happen. But you're right. But it's crazy. And it's all layaway. We're putting food on layaway now. What are we doing?
Well, but not really, because you get it right away. You get your food still.
That's right. It isn't
it's
layaway.
Reverse layaway.
You're
it's
right.
Reverse layaway.
You're right. It's reverse layaway. They're putting it on charge cards.
Yeah. So first of all, this kind of might be a weird response to this, but when I hear something like that, I think then again, it's a cultural failure, but it's also an educational failure, right? Because do I blame the companies for doing this? No. And I guarantee you they've done a lot of work that's probably similar to like actuary work, figuring out, okay, what will our recovery rate be on these? This is profitable. You can't get mad at them because they're hitting the people with interest. That's the other thing we need to accept. If people want to be stupid, they should be allowed to be stupid.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
You have to, because it costs so much for the rest of the society to idiot-proof everything. And I think we're suffering from that right now, which is, it's the old adage. It's sad but true. A fool and his money were lucky enough to get together in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's not going to last, right? And so to me, it's really a breakdown in financial education. And it goes back to a conversation I was having this morning with a client of mine. And he had hired a 23-year-old kid. And we were talking about how these kids come out. And even at the age of 23, 24, we all know that they have really unrealistic income expectations. But it's driven by what they're seeing primarily on social media.
Right.
And believing that they're so much further ahead. They're so much further behind. There's so much. And I tell them, I'm like, look, man, I live a pretty good life. I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together when I was 23. You're going to be just fine. But not if you keep listening to all of these freaking nonsense. You don't need a Lamborghini. You don't need a credit card with no limit. You don't need a black Amex. You don't need layaway for your food. What you need to do is learn how to spend less than you make and quit caring about what a bunch of idiots that you don't know think about you.
Yeah.
Right. And the quicker you do that, the more you will accomplish, the greater levels you will go to, because there's so many constraints that we build around ourselves, and putting ourselves in a bad position financially is one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for all of these stupid reasons. And if kids were properly educated, look, there's still going to be people that make stupid decisions. Right. But I think, well, I'll just tell you firsthand, and I'm sure if you had more of these conversations, you guys would be just as shocked, if not more shocked than I am. But you go through life working hard, putting money away, trying to make sensible decisions. If you really, and maybe you guys have people in your life like this, if you really start understanding and seeing and realizing what the quote unquote average person is out there doing with their money and what they think is average, it is freaking shocking.
Yeah.
It is shocking.
Yeah.
Right? Like how I see people all the time. 3, 4, $500,000 a year incomes levered to the gills, right? And you're looking at them going, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
You can live on 200 grand after tax money if you're making 500 grand a year and still bank 100 grand a year.
Right.
That ain't bad.
Right.
Right? I mean, you can do a lot of damage with 17 grand after tax money a month, and you're socking away 10 grand. It's not rocket science.
Right.
And more importantly, it's sad to see people do it, because I've been blessed enough in my life to experience both ends of the financial spectrum, and to be at a place now where I'm not wealthy, but I'm not limited by the things that I want, in terms of my income. And I try to tell this to many. You're going to hear it from a million people. You're going to hear it from one more. If you think having those things or the ability to buy those things is the secret to happiness, you're going to be horrifically disappointed. Because most of you, once you achieve it, you're not going to want it.
Yep.
Because you're no longer an idiot.
Yep.
Right. and you realize that driving around a billboard telling everybody how much money you have isn't fun anyway.
Yep.
Right.
It's so true.
It attracts all the wrong people. So it's just, to me, it's the financial education thing. And it breaks my heart, because there are real costs to this, right? These things, a lot of people don't figure this out by the time they're 35, right? They end up with 2 bankruptcies on a second marriage at the age of 52.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
but what do you tell the people that, like, because, when I read about this deal, I get that Klarna is paying DoorDash, like or maybe DoorDash is paying, I can't even remember who is actually paying for the service. I think DoorDash is actually paying Klarna so that they feel like they're going to be able to offer their services to more people because it'll be more affordable. But there is something to be said for the fact that this is for interest-free payments, where most people are using a credit card that does not have interest-free payments. So essentially, if you're really being thoughtful about it, and I doubt most people are being that way, but if you're being thoughtful about it, you could make the argument, I'm saving money by splitting it up because I'm not putting it on my credit card, which I may not pay off every month. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, for instance, so I can say this. I was sitting there going, I don't want to. So here at our business, we have a American Express Platinum corporate card, right? And they've got killer cashback deals and all that kind of stuff. And so we literally put every single bill every month on that thing and pay it off, right? So we do that. Here's the problem with that. You and I might do that. Most people won't. Right. Most people are going to use that to continue to buy and spend at levels that they can't really afford
and not pay it off. Right.
Yeah.
But to the point of, like, people calling out, like, Klarna and what's the other one?
DoorDash.
Klarna, and DoorDash. I'm sitting there going, again, it's interest free, it's transparent. I don't see I get why they're doing it. Right. And this is kind of one of the hidden costs of the internet, if you will, is the internet has made it possible for these businesses basically to do like microtransactions. And because they can do them on such a broad scale using the internet, you can offer things that otherwise wouldn't be economical, right? And most of the time that's seen as an efficiency. But in this case, in situations like this, I think that is actually an impediment and a danger to the average consumer, right? Because they're getting access to things that never would have been. Like, for instance, if you didn't have an internet, not only would DoorDash not be feasible, but this whole setup wouldn't be feasible, right? Because the only way they can do this is if it's like life insurance. You can do these sorts of things if you're doing it to a wide enough pool of people. And the only reason it's feasible is through the internet. And like I said, the cost of that comes with the ability for people to do things they shouldn't do that they otherwise never would have had the ability to do, right? Without the internet. So I don't have like I said, I don't have a problem with the companies offering it. But it's just another one of those things where people are just putting themselves in debt bondage for all the wrong, it just, I hate
The
seeing it.
memes though, the memes are great. There was, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
this one of like some guy said, this is from Chase Passive Income. And it says, excited to announce that I closed on a $31.38 transaction to secure a burrito and a side of chips.
Right.
And then he goes, 20-year senior fixed rate financing was provided by Klarna. DoorDash provided delivery of the asset. Congratulations to all involved.
Well, the funny thing is that fits in so much into like, the market right now, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I love the meme
That's
and I love how he
fantastic.
describes it, but man, it's so true. Like you watch the movements of some of these stocks, right? Like it's just great. Like today. Now, I think we're all supporting what Elon is doing, right? All supporting Tesla, hoping them all the best, all that kind of stuff. Tesla stock up 10% today. Okay, if you want to actually look at the merits of Tesla as a company, that stock would probably be too expensive for us if it was half its current price. Okay, like we have got such ridiculous expectations of investors right now, and I as investors, and I think it's unfortunately, I think it's going to create a lot of what we were just talking about. I think it's going to create a lot of people that are all loaded up on a bunch of things that are very irresponsible and where there's not real value there. And, I think we're in the process now of those things starting to get to more of an intrinsic value. And I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked. Kind of like with this, microfinance thing. All you see are just people keep levering up and making bad decisions. And I hate to see it.
Well, I mean, and this is your field. This is your industry expertise. You are really, really good at helping people become financially literate. It's why you do all those webinars and why you offer risk reviews to folks that are complimentary. Where can people find out more about how to do that?
Yes, that was well said too.
Thanks.
She's very good at that. Very, very good.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That is her
we gotta get her
forte.
on as an
Yeah.
advisor. I want her to start pitching this other than me
good.
here. Yeah. You can always get us at bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com, knowyourriskradio.com. And, obviously I'm biased. It's my company, but I think everybody should do it. We don't twist arms. We're not going to keep calling you if you don't like to. We sit down, have a 30 to 45 minute consultation with you. Next meeting, we come back. Okay, based on what you said, here are some things that we think would make sense. What do you think about that? Get a little more information. Third phone call, we go, okay, here's a portfolio proposal. Here's what it's going to cost you. Let us know if you'd like to proceed. Right. So, it's not too big, not too arduous, not too painful, and doesn't cost you anything. And if nothing else, maybe you'll leave more informed,
And people need to go to knowyourriskradio.com.
And bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com. Yep.
Perfect.
Find us there. Not hard to find us.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, ladies. It was fun as always.
Services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.